First, can you confirm it was an intermediate range missile? Second, did Russia provide advance warning? And can you give us some sort of clarity on who they call and how much advance notice did they give? And then just thirdly on this, what is the overall U.S. reaction to the missile strike and Putin's comments today that he believes Russia has the right to strike any and take action against countries that provide weapons to Ukraine?
Thanks, Lita. So trying to remember some of the order of your questions. So I can confirm that Russia did launch an experimental intermediate range ballistic missile. This IRBM was based on Russia's RS-26 Rubezh intercontinental ballistic missile model. In terms of notifications to the United States was pre-notified briefly before the launch through nuclear risk reduction channels. For more, I'd refer you to state on that. And I think your third question was on our reaction to Putin's comments. I mean, we've seen this type of dangerous, reckless rhetoric before from President Putin. What we're focused on is continuing to support Ukraine with what it needs. Ukraine, as you know, has been successful in continuing to push back against Russian aggression. We just rolled out another $275 million package yesterday. You're going to see more packages continue in the weeks and months ahead left of this administration. So that's what we're really focused on. Of course, we're going to take seriously the rhetoric coming out of Russia, but our focus remains on arming Ukraine and supporting Ukraine what it needs the most on the battlefield. And as a reminder, as this reckless rhetoric continues, Putin can choose to end this war today. He can choose to withdraw Russian forces and end his war of aggression and his war of choice. So we're going to continue to focus on what Ukraine needs on the battlefield. Liz.
To follow up on that, earlier this week, Putin signed a new nuclear doctrine for Russia. Have we seen their nuclear posture change at all?
We haven't seen any adjustments that we've observed in their nuclear posture, and we haven't adjusted our nuclear posture in exchange. Something that I think I said on Tuesday is that the changes that we've made were expected and something that we had anticipated for a while. Again, extremely reckless, but we haven't made any adjustments to our posture.
Something from earlier this week, the Ukraine's reported use of ATACMS. Can you confirm that Ukraine used ATACMS on targets in Russia?
I still don't have anything to announce or confirm, but if there is more to share, I certainly will. Again, you just saw us roll out another $275 million package earlier this week. We're going to continue to supply Ukraine what it needs, but I'd really refer you to the Ukrainians to speak to their operations. Lauren.
Just to clarify something you said in response to Lita, you said this was based on an RS-26 Rubezh missile. Does that mean it was an RS-26, or was it one of the derivatives like an RS-28? Can you be just a little more specific on that?
I can't get more specific other than that it was based off of, what I would say is it was based off of the design of the RS-26. But I'm just not going to be able to give you more details than that right now.
And then just a sort of related question on a different topic. The provision or the decision to provide anti-personnel mines to Ukraine, can you say, first, what type of anti-personnel mines, what makes you so confident that they'll be used correctly? And second, given the position of the administration essentially 2 years ago, does this require a presidential waiver or some step there to okay the export of these?
So in terms of how the Ukrainians employ these mines on the battlefield, the Ukrainians have given us their assurances that they are going to only use them in Ukraine. We are providing a different variants of the type of mines. I'm just not going to get into more details than that. I think it's important to note that the reason why we are providing these APLs is because as the battlefield has changed and the fight has evolved over time, so have we, so have our support. And I think you saw the secretary speak to this on his travel, but Russia has changed their tactics. So they're not leading with their mechanized forces, they're leading with dismounted forces. And so because of that, we feel that these APLs and how they will be able to be used on the battlefield will be helpful to Ukraine. In terms of your second question on if there needs to be something, a type of waiver, I'd refer you to the White House to speak to that. Patrice.
On this sort of scale of escalation, where do you see the IRBM? It's obviously not an ICBM, but you know, on a level of concern, and where does this sort of lie, this particular missile?
So this was a new type of lethal capability that was employed on the battlefield. So that's certainly of concern to us. And we're going to, you know, I don't have an assessment of its impacts right now, but it's something that, of course, we're concerned by. But what's been escalatory in this war is the fact that Russia decided to turn to a foreign country and bring those, DPRK soldiers into the fight. So we're going to continue to monitor. What we're focused on is supporting Ukraine and arming Ukraine with what it needs.
Just following up on Leah's question, President Putin said that actually the U.S. was escalating by giving, allowing Ukraine to hit inside Russia with the ATACMS, and that there was a possibility of the conflict becoming more global. If you could just sort of respond to that, his sort of, very clear sort of accusation that it was the United States' fault, that it was, becoming more escalatory.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear and couldn't be more black and white in what's escalatory here. Russia invaded its sovereign neighbor. We can go back 2 years, continue to look at the facts. We've been very clear publicly and privately to Russia that we're going to support Ukraine because another sovereign country doing that to its neighbors should not go unchecked. And the United States, our partners and allies around the world, stand for an international rules-based order. And that's what brings us together at the table, like-minded values and principles. So we're going to support Ukraine as long as it takes. And we've been pretty clear about that from the beginning. Again, Putin has the decision and the authority to end this war today. He continues to escalate. He continues to take provocative actions like you just saw with this recent IRBM that was launched into Ukraine, the bringing in of DPRK soldiers into the fight. Each time these actions are more escalatory, simply what the United States is doing and our 50 or so partners and allies around the world is giving Ukraine what it needs to be in the fight. And I also think it's important to remember that every single day, Russia is expending, approximately 1,200 casualties on the battlefield. Ukraine has proven itself time and again, and we're very proud to stand with them in this fight.